I'm here with Christoph, also from New Media and Animation. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Cheers.
Christoph, we've been speaking to a lot of people from New Media and Animation this evening, and we were saying how hard it is to distinguish yourself from other people's work. So, what's your project been this year?
My project has been a city symphony, video-based, of course. So straight away you separate yourself from animation. I guess new media guys, we get this freedom to experiment. We have no limits as long as it moves on the screen. There you go. My project has been a city symphony, so taking a camera around the whole city, filming people. It's photography with movement, basically. That's the whole.
And have you enjoyed that? And have you enjoyed experimenting with other subjects rather than people who you know rather than?
Yeah, it's been. Because animation is like you spend most of your time in front of a computer, in the dark. You can spend all day and night. With my project, I had to be out during the daylight. Walking the streets of the city, meeting people. So it's really two different ways of working in the end.
What was the inspiration for your project then?
Well, I did a similar project in my first year, but then this year I discovered the whole city symphony concepts that started in the 1920s, in the Soviet Union. People documented the change from agricultural Russia to industrialized. Then I inspired myself with Dada movies, 1922, 24, of like truth cinema it's called. It's like the essence of filming. Filming things, no actors, no plot, storyline. And after that, you just assemble the images to create your piece.
Do you do any animation with that though? Do you do anything like typography or anything with that single piece?
Apart from the title sequence and credits, apart from that, no, nothing.
And how long does a title sequence for you take to put together? Because obviously you'll probably be a lot more skilled than us, but...
title sequence can, you have to spend so much time on like 1 second. Every frame, since, let's say a title sequence is 45 seconds long, average. Especially if it's clients work,
client-based.
It has to be perfect. Every frame, so 25 by 45 really, there you go. That's hours on that, hours, yeah.
Excellent. Christoph, thank you very much for joining us. Cool. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Pleasure.
Tell us a bit about your course, Susan. On the new media design course, we basically experiment with animation techniques,
Yeah.
interactivity. We've also been experimenting with app prototyping, so it's sort of like a very experimental course where we try different methods that stick to one.
So it gets you to know which type of place you want to be in your future career.
I haven't really decided, but it's sort of like gave me a more. After doing this course, I sort of know where I'm going, sort of.
Yeah.
But I still want to go. Still want to do illustration, which is my roots. But I also want to go into the more interactive side of it. So maybe combining animation and interactivity.
Oh, right, brilliant. So what are the main projects that you've worked on in the last 2 years?
We've done mostly animation and interactive DVDs and app prototyping.
Which one was your most favourite?
Most favourite, probably the app prototype, because I've also brought in my illustration background into that project, so
Yeah.
it was sort of like returning home sort of feeling.
So what is prototype exactly? Can you explain that?
The prototype is basically, it works and acts like an ordinary app, but there's no programming involved, so it's just more or less giving the audience a look and feel to what the app would look like once it's done finished programming.
Oh, right, okay. So what skills have you gained from the course?
New software skills, which I never touched before, like Illustrator, After Effects, Final Cut Pro, so it's a lot in this course, yeah.
Did you not use any of those facilities before you came to them?
No, not at all.
What did you do beforehand? Did you go to a college before that, or did you just...
No, I came straight from industry. So I was initially an illustrator, so I'm more or less stuck with Photoshop. And that's about it, really.
So you came from the industry. What made you want to come to study? Did you feel like you gained more experience and knowledge?
Yeah, basically I feel like from illustration I was stuck in it. I can't experiment with more things. So I think taking this course has really opened up my eyes to different mediums.
So you feel like it's gained more experience for your future career?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what is your future career? What do you initially want to do?
Coming to the course I had no idea, because I wanted to get away from illustration, but I don't know how. But after this course, I do want to go back to illustration, but
widen the horizons.
Exactly.
Yeah. So have you been on any trips in the last couple of years?
Just recently been to Berlin.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did you do there?
Mostly sightseeing and going to galleries and such.
Yeah.
Just
So you can see other people's work
Yeah.
and you compare it to your own.
yeah, definitely.
See what you can learn from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So do you feel that your tutors have helped you a lot?
Definitely. Yeah.
Have you had like a lot of one-to-ones with them?
Yeah. I mean, they're very flexible. Like, unlike universities, you have to pencil in like a scheduled time to see them. But with my tutors, I can just go up to them and say, I want a one-to-one. I want your feedback. I want your opinion. And they say, great, that's fine. And they'll speak. They give you feedback on the spot.
Yeah. So it's really good that you've got what you want from the course, and the fact that it's more experimental. You see, anyone would think animation is about making little characters on the screen move, but there's more to that than, as you said. Brilliant. I don't know what else to say.
Is that it?
Okay, we're going to be taking an interview with Zach in a moment, but here's a look at his show reel. All right. So here's Zach. Zach Esterhausen. He's from animation, and you have been very productive with this end of year show, haven't you, Zach? Putting your booth together.
I have, yes. It's been a 3-day struggle to get everything ready and up and going, and obviously sourcing all the materials for it and putting it together. It's been a few months putting it together.
So would you say you like to distinguish yourself from other people's booths, because obviously that's what sets you apart as an artist and also an animator as well?
I do, because I have a very corporate feel to my work, and a clean cut. So I try to emphasize that with the colors and the wood flooring that I use, and showing a bit more sophistication, which I feel shine through.
So what did you do for your end of year project this year?
End of year project? Well, to be honest, my entire last year was one big mesh of client projects, because I want to get into corporate advertising. I got as many client briefs as I could, and in total I did, 7, 8 client briefs that I've done throughout the 2 years, so this year. So I haven't really seen a distinction between the 2 different projects. I just put it all together with all these clients. The reason to do that was I wanted to get as many real live projects on my portfolio, projects that will be used internationally for real companies and would be live on their websites at the moment.
So what would you say is the biggest inspiration for your work? Is there a particular brand you look at or organisation and you say, I like what they're doing with their marketing?
Inspiration? Well, it's going to sound silly, but my biggest inspiration is the 1960s advertising, the clean cut type, just the quality of the work they used to produce back then. And I also did my contextual work on that, where again, because I want to get into advertising, so I sort of shine that through.
But is simplicity important as well?
That is definitely important. If you look at most of my work, it's very simplistic. It gets to the point. It tells a little story, but it doesn't give away too much. And I feel that the less you give, the more attention you grab. So.
And what would you say to anybody out there who's looking to get into advertising? Is there a particular thing you have to do right and well?
Just be yourself, I think. Attention to detail, and you really need to know what people want and show them what they want, but don't give it away.
No.
I think that's all I can think of now.
And is there any particular projects you're working on at the moment as we go towards the summer?
No, not at the moment. I've finished off everything and I've left some time to work on the show, so I've just taken a break. I went on holiday as well. Just to give a break and break off from that. During the summer, I will be working. I have other projects, other companies that contacted me that's seen work that I've done and said they want me to do infographics or e-learning intros or online advertising for them. So I'll be working on about 3 company projects during the summer.
Excellent, Zach. I hope you have a nice summer and thank you for joining us.
I will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Islam is probably the most controversial religion of the 21st century. However, that shouldn't come as a surprise because it has been questioned ever since it began, over 1400 years ago. In those days, the questions that were asked were regarding bringing change to a nation and whether a person could give up their lifestyle and family so they could live under the rule of God. There were severe consequences for choosing to be a Muslim in those early days. It would usually lead to being disowned by your family, public torture, or in some circumstances, death. In today's world, those problems don't exist, but there are still issues regarding the religion which are under scrutiny and questions are still being asked. The questions being asked today are very different. They focus on terrorism, women, morality, violence, and more. People find it hard to understand these topics, and many believe that Islam needs to move on and change its ways to accommodate for the times that we all live in. I searched for non-Muslims to see what their views are on these topics and try to understand how they feel about the ideas and rules of Islam. I also spoke to Muslims and listened to them give their opinions on these subjects, hoping to find an explanation and get an idea to why people may not understand Islam. Many people believe that Islam is oppressive towards women because it forces them to cover up, it takes away the rights of women, and they aren't regarded as equal to men. If this is true, then it doesn't make sense as to why, out of 100,000 British people that converted to Islam in the past decade, Over 60% of them are females.
Okay, good morning ladies and gents. Just like to welcome aboard this megabus service to London. Firstly, if I can please ask all passengers if you can have your seatbelts on whilst on board. It is a legal requirement. It is obviously for your own safety, so please do buckle up whilst on board the vehicle. Also, if you can just familiarise yourself with the 5 exits on board, which you will find the entrance where you boarded. There's also one to the rear on the right hand side of the coach, and also certain windows on either side which are clearly marked, and skylights can also be used in emergencies. There is strictly no smoking or the consumption of alcohol whilst on board.
Yeah, I'll come in.
Is it okay if I sit down here?
Yeah. Do you want a cup of tea?
No, thank you. I've just had one at the office. So, are you managing okay? Is there anything that we can support you with?
Yeah, I'm managing fine, and my daughter's managing fine. It's my mother who isn't. And you've seen what she's like, and I haven't had any help at all. I mean, I think that's why you're here, isn't it?
It is, yes. What I'll need to do is go back and speak to my manager, and then after I've spoke to him, within a few days I'll get back in touch with you and we'll discuss support packages then. Is that okay?
We'll have to be ready.
Well, for the moment, yeah. And hopefully we'll come up with some support that suits you all. But I'll need to go back and discuss with my manager before I do anything.
Come on then, I'll show you out.
Ship is missing a captain, and it takes someone with real heart to step in. By no means do I think that's me, but someone needs to put their hand in the sea and pull the anchor. Well, Jamie just said leave it, you don't need it anymore.
The thing that made me start weightlifting was I have two older brothers that weightlift. They are sort of 3 and 4 years older than me. They started going early. They wanted to be bodybuilders, but my dad was basically said, you know, you're too young to become a bodybuilder at the ages of sort of 9 and 10. So, like gymnastics, he had a little bit of a background in Olympic weightlifting, so he said, go and try this. So they went to the only gym that he knew about. They didn't really have proper coaching back then, to be honest. But I went with them and was watching them lift. Obviously, I was too young to stay at home on my own with my dad, and my mum went to drop them off. So I went with them, watched, and
I'm Chris Ware.
I'm Glenn.
And together we are the Awesome Deep Art. Never actually thought about being a DJ. Never crossed my mind. And it was a trip to Warehouse Projects in Manchester about, I don't even know how long ago it was now, 6 years ago maybe a bit longer. And I was there for Cocoon, and Villa Lobos was playing one of his better sets. And it was that was pretty inspirational for me, and the thought about DJing probably dawned on me watching him play at that time, really.
So that was the umbrella show for this year from Piccadilly Place. How do you think that went, Rebecca? Do you think you had a nice conversation with people?
I have, yeah. I think there's been some really good contributions from the exhibitors. Sounds like they really had a good time in their course and have gained a lot of experience and skills.
I think the important thing we have to remember, people, is that a lot of work and hard graft goes into making all these booths and exhibitions in both BA and FD spaces. So props to all the people who got involved. Big thanks to Sean, big thanks to all the technicians who's helped bring this stuff down here, and a big thanks to you for watching at home, and we'll see you next year. Thanks for watching.